Welcome to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast, a weekly podcast providing career and creative inspiration to help you build a purpose-filled life. If you're interested in tapping into your creative potential and building on your biggest and best resource, yourself, please join me on this path. I'm your host, Nancy Moore, and I want you to know that I'm on this journey with you. So let's get started. Hi, everybody. Today, I am going to be visiting with Mindy Buxton. She is one of my favorite people on earth, and she's actually my cousin. She is very accomplished in the area of health and fitness, and I would consider her an expert in the field. She is a health and personal fitness trainer. She has been in the industry over 25 years and has been a fitness and food coach at the Life Center Athletic Club in Sandy, Utah for over 25 years, and she also provides personal training and online coaching. She is the author of the BodyJoy Plan, the Body Gym Exercise Catalog, and creator and master trainer of the Body Gym Certification Program. And I will tell you, the Body Gym is one of my favorite pieces of equipment to work out with. The Body Gym is super easy to pack and gives you a great workout in just a little bit of time. So Mindy's book is phenomenal. So it's called the BodyJoy Plan, and we talk about her book, her niche in the fitness industry, and then what she thinks is the secret weapon to helping you slim down. So we talk about all of that. And the interview starts out visiting about her background, because she did not intend, when she went to college at the University of Utah, she did not intend to get into the health and fitness industry. And so she has a reason for her interest in helping people. So she shares all of that, and I can't wait for you to hear it. So I am excited for you to listen to our visit today. Here is Mindy Buxton.
I never had any intention in being the health and fitness industry. So as a kid, I had chronic conditions from birth. I've had issues with kidneys and other organs. And so by the time I was a junior in college, my doctor actually said, "Hey, I think if we focused a little more on your lifestyle, maybe some of these symptoms could be managed better." And so my doctor was actually the one that recommended me seeing a trainer for movement, because I really wasn't athletic growing up, but I also didn't just sit around. I was in dance, but I just never really did a lot of sports. So at that time, I wasn't doing a lot. I was a student and I was working and studying a lot, right? So I took his advice and I went to a little grocer it was Wild Oats back in the day. Did you have that?
Yes, we had Wild. Yes, we had Wild Oats.
Okay. So I went to Wild Oats because on Tuesdays they had a free nutritionist that you could go in and talk to. And as a poor college student, I just thought, how am I going to pay for help with this? And then I talked to one of my girlfriends, and my boyfriend at the time worked at a gym. And so I convinced my girlfriend to come do personal training with me so we could split the cost. And on my doctor's recommendation, I started with a trainer. And then I started getting counseling on how you use nutrients to help your body. And it literally changed my life. I was so, I went from being on constant medications and even like years of antibiotics, long-term antibiotics that are just so bad for other organs in your body, to after getting into this direction and following the guidance that I had from her, I was using food a lot differently. And I kind of got away from all the fried food and the packaged food and the fast food, and eating grilled and focusing on vegetables. And all of a sudden I did have less symptoms. And then I found myself on less medication. And even though when I started with my trainer, I wasn't super focused on weight, it wasn't going to make me sad at all if I changed, but my purpose was to feel better and have a better quality of life. But before I knew it, I was just having all these wins and successes. I love how in fitness, the first thing that shows up is not like a change on the scale. So it was good that that wasn't my focus. But after that first workout, I had never really lifted weights before. I had run a little bit and did cardio and went hiking and danced. But I felt so good strength training. And it was so fun to see in just a couple weeks time, I could lift more weight, or I could do more reps, or I could do something longer before I felt like I wanted to die. So it was so fun. And then within probably the first 3 months, all of a sudden I was in a smaller size, and just everything started compounding for the better. And I think it was about 8 or 9 months into it, I was getting close to my senior year of college. I started thinking my trainer has the best job ever. And as much as I loved working at the state capitol and working with my senator and getting ready for the LSAT and graduating, I thought, I think this is what I want to do. And so I actually talked to my trainer and said, okay, I know that with the certification you have to have a degree. I will have a BS from the University of Utah. And so help me figure out how I pass this national exam. And so he spent pretty much close to a year helping me learn anatomy and kinesiology and physiology, because these are not classes you take when you're in the pre-law sequence. Mm-hmm. And those national exams have a 60% fail rate. They're rough. And the first time I took it when it came to Utah, because back then, this was 25 years ago, the tests were not online. It was paper pencil in your state. And it was only offered like once a year. And so it was a February, and I wasn't really ready, but I took it anyway because it was in Utah, and I failed by 2 questions. And so there was a training conference that summer in Kansas City. And I figured out, okay, that's where they're giving the test next. So I studied even more, and I actually even took a kinesiology class because some of the science is what was just hard for me. Mm-hmm. John had me so prepped and ready for the practical, and I knew what to do movement wise and program design wise, but some of the science was just not how my brain works. I could essay my way out of anything, but the science is not my forte. So I flew to Kansas City that summer, took the test, passed that test, and I have been training people and just, I guess, loving my job ever since. So I feel like I do have the best job on the planet.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to talk to you, because that always comes across to me when I'm asking you questions, or when I'm working with you or whatever. I know that you love doing it. And it's so neat that you have the benefits, that you have seen the benefits for yourself, and you've kind of walked that walk where you can help people in understanding how to feel better and why it's important, to eat a certain way and exercise. And even in your book, you talk about sleep. And I'm saying even in your book. So when did the idea come for your book then?
Well, it was probably within the first 5 to 7 years of training. Every single client I had, I swear, once a week, someone would say, okay, I've read this plan, and what do you think about this? Or I'm going to come in and work out with you, but I'm following this diet plan. And there were so many resources out there. And so to be able to give them an educated opinion, I read them all. And it was everything from the Atkins high protein to like vegetarian to strategies for how to work with your body. And 90% of all those books were so great, but every single book took something to an extreme, or was trying to then have you buy pills or shakes because they had you eat so little that you couldn't sustain energy or weight loss without being so restrictive. And so I got so sick of every single book doing that I just thought, you know what? I've got to give them a resource that not only will help them lose weight, but none of those plans could help someone be successful long-term. Because usually the second you stop doing that or stop buying the supplement, or you eat more than so little of what they allowed you to have on their plan, you lose your results. And I started learning in those first probably 10 years of training that it's not hard to lose weight. Everybody can lose weight. Everybody's lost weight, right? But keeping it off and turning it into a lifestyle and having those results long-term, that's what's hard. And so, and I also started realizing that it's not a sexy plan, and it doesn't sell a lot of products or supplements, but it's not about hard things. It's about nailing down the basics. And just because something is basic doesn't mean it's easy to do. And so that's what I thought. These people were missing the mark on focusing on these beast mode or sensational concepts. And it's like, if you just do the little things, but you do them all the time, you don't have to spend money and waste your time on things that aren't going to give you long-term results. So that's where the BodyJoy Plan came from. I guess that's what my niche is in fitness. Instead of going into beast mode and all this other stuff with no pain, no gain and stuff, it's like, if it's not doable, it's not going to be long-term, and we're not going to stick with it. Right. Mm-hmm. And fitness and nutrition, we're in it for the long game, because it's something that we get to do the entire time we have bodies. And so if we want to have a good quality of life, it's part of every day. It's a long game. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And every single day we have the opportunity to practice and to do 1% better, just a little bit better today than tomorrow. And we'll hit our goal.
I'm glad that you said yes, because I said the book. Yes, your book is the BodyJoy Plan, and it's your solution to fat loss, health, and happiness. It's just all encompassing, I think, just a whole great way to live your life. And so I am wondering, I have a couple of favorite tips, but I'm wondering in the book, if you can share from your book, what maybe your top 2 favorite tips would be.
Okay. Well, first, I think I should tell people. So my book is written, it's a bunch of strategies. So it's not something that you have to read cover to cover, but the way I formatted it is the first section is mind, and then we go into movement, and then we go into meals. And everybody seems to just want to jump to the meal part and say, okay, give me the list of what to do or what not to do, or just give me the workout plan. And we only have success in those other 2 areas if the mind part is there. And most of the time, our problems and our issues with food isn't food. It's not even about food. It's the way we use food and how we're using it. And so and all of that stuff is a mindfulness issue, or usually it starts with our mind. So my first favorite strategy in the book is strategy 6. It's on page 46. And the BodyJoy approach is about positive thinking, positive language, and positive perception. And I challenge my clients to have every day write down a win, a success, and a proud. And if you have a mindset of what you're doing where you feel like, oh, I only can have this, or I only get this amount of food, versus I choose to eat this. I choose to have meals and not snacks. And I love the food that I eat. Your results are so different, and your chances of staying on your program long-term are hugely different. And so having a positive approach to change and to what you're doing, and even to your self-talk, is so important. I have clients that we hadn't even started changing their nutrition or what they were doing with their movement, but had their homework assignment was writing 3 things down every day. And I have one woman in particular that lost sizes, and that's what her change was, because she was battling so much negative self-talk that it would just sabotage everything she did. And it's really hard to see success and progress if you're only looking at one way, or thinking that like the scale is the end all, when really in fitness, if you make one change, you're going to have so many benefits from it, and that have nothing to do with the scale maybe. And that will show up. But again, it's not the first result that you ever see when you start a food and a nutrition program or a workout program, but it takes time. So having the right approach is huge. It's a deal breaker. I think it's a game changer.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I'll just say is one of my favorites. It's funny. And you know, my mother, so she talks about sleep. She talks about the importance of sleep, and you talk about the importance of sleep.
Yeah.
In the book. And so will you share that a little bit more about that? The importance
of sleep? Sleep is not just in the book, but it's also on I have a spreadsheet that I use with my training clients, whether they work online or whether I see them in person. But sleep is so important to your body. It's when all the repair happens. It's when you can burn fat. It's when hormones are cleaned up. It's when your brain gets cleaned out. And that single thing right there, I just think it's so overlooked, because you can have the best workout program, you can eat the cleanest you've ever eaten, and you still could not see results if you're not getting the rest and the recovery and the sleep that your body needs. So that's almost it. People are surprised sometimes when we first talk about what we're going to improve in their habits, and when we start with sleep, because they want to start with food. But it's like, if your sleep it's so key into healing and seeing results.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because just recently I was having a conversation with a friend, and she was talking about how she stays up until midnight and then she wakes up early, like 5 a.m. And I was thinking, are people still doing that? It's like, you've got to get your sleep. And so it's just not sustainable. So I love that you have that focus.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's not like it's not fun, or it's like, ooh, that's not exciting to talk about or focus on, but it's huge. And that's the thing too, that is hard. It's our success. We want to think, it's all in our fitness and in what we eat. That is just a little sliver of what helps us get results. And some of these other things like sleep and stress management and not eating late at night, things like that are all so important to helping us see results.
I might just admit, so I'm pretty guilty of the negative self-talk. And I don't know if you have any tips about that, how to fight that.
Well, and I think all of us, even those of us who practice that, it's human nature. And I don't know why our brains just default to that. But I try to challenge whenever I find myself saying or thinking anything negative. I decide, okay, 3 positives right now. What are 3 things that you do well, that you like about yourself, or that you're proud of? And so just kind of in the moment, it's catching it and then reframing it. And so the more we do that, we train our brain to not default to that. And we're creating new neurological pathways that go towards how we want to be.
Okay.
And so it's hard though, isn't it? It's hard.
That's kind of a downfall for me. Yeah.
I think a lot of women experience that, and men, a lot of my male clients do too. And I just think too, one of my favorite quotes is progress, not perfection. I think we're so trained to be perfectionistic and to be a certain way. And there's just this one way to do things. And there's so much pressure. And when we're not doing that, it gives us all the room in the world to start to tear ourselves down or compare ourselves or to berate ourselves for not being a certain way. And progress takes us closer to our goal than perfectionism usually ever does. And so it's kind of nice that we don't always have to be perfect to be successful, but it's just hard to remind ourselves, because I just think we're conditioned to default to that.
Yeah. But I'm working, as long as you can recognize that you can also work on it. And I just thought, I'm going to ask your perspective on that.
Yeah, that's what I have and that's why too, on every single day, I have my clients write down, and it's not just saying them, it's you physically write them down, whether it's in a note on your phone or in a little journal book or something. You write down those wins, successes, and positives, or a proud, because then you also have something to tangibly look at when you are having a day where you just feel like, everything is unraveling around me.
Mm-hmm.
And you can look at and be like, no, I do this well. I just did that. I've done this in the past. I can do that today.
Mm-hmm.
And so I just think there's something powerful about writing it down
Mm-hmm.
and having it that helps us get past where we're at, or helps us go the direction we want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. That's a good tip. Okay. Another good tip that you shared with me that I always think of you when I'm at Costco, when I am parking, because I will park way out and then walk in.
I'm so proud of you.
Isn't that funny? Thank you. And then when I load up with my healthy stuff, and then I, trek back out to the car way out, but just getting those steps. And then even at work, walking the stairs instead of the elevator, and, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I learned from you.
Yeah. Movement is so important. And a lot of people think, if I get my exercise in, then I'm golden and I'm good for the day. And we have 30 minutes to an hour where we get our actual workout in. But then if we're sedentary the rest of the day, that's not going to be very helpful and that's not what our body needs. We have a lot of aches and pains and poor posture, and we get into just movement patterns that we're not built for.
Mm-hmm.
And so movement is so underrated. I mean, even just standing and pacing while you're on a conference call, or going out to the mailbox to grab your mail, or instead of bringing all your grocery bags in with 8 bags on each hand and the balancing act, go out and bring them in one at a time. It helps you get movement. But I love just setting it up in my day to where I don't have to think about it. I don't have to be in workout clothes. I don't have to be at a gym. So using like all the stuff that we need to get done anyway, probably our laundry and yard work and all of that counts as movement. Even stretching and using a foam roller or a Theragun and a lot of rehab stuff. All of that is movement. And we are built to move, and movement helps us not just with our weight loss, but with just not having injuries or posture pain. And it's so good for us. Mm-hmm. We're built to move.
Mm-hmm. Move it or lose it, right?
That's right. That's right. And just keeping it simple. That's actually one of my strategies in the exercise section, but it's to make sure too that we just don't think that unless it's 30 or 60 minutes that it doesn't count. Any minute counts. Any minute. If you have to do 10 minutes 3 times a day, there's your 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. It just don't make it hard, make it doable, and let it fit into your life instead of thinking like, I just don't have an hour anywhere. I don't have 30 minutes. Well, you probably have 5 or 10 minutes at a time. Mm-hmm. You can do some strength training at home. You can do some squats in your office. I use the Body Gym a lot, and I've used that through my business, and my clients have that at their desk. They take it on vacation with them. I take that on vacation. So it's something I can do in between. If I have 10 minutes before I have to pull out some laundry or before I start doing my next thing, I can do something. And and again, you don't even have to always change into it and get sweaty and gross. Mm-hmm. Just exercise and movement is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I know about the Body Gym because of you, and use the Body Gym because of you. It's one of those things that I think everything is encompassed in the one tool or the one, what do you call it? Just tool?
Piece of equipment.
Yeah. And so I have certain things that I do, but it's fun to watch you on Instagram and show other things that you do. And then I try because, you get stuck in having a certain amount of time and kind of doing that. But I have felt like that's a very helpful tool for me in my strength training. That's honestly the only thing that I use. And you might get on to me, but the only thing I use for my strength training besides my own body is the body
that's
gym.
awesome. You know what? That's awesome. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're using resistant bands, like what the body gym is. It doesn't matter if you're using dumbbells or body weight. You're going to get benefits any type of way that you do strength training. Strength training too it's just overlooked by women a lot. I think a lot of females are still intimidated, especially in like a gym setting and going down with equipment with these guys that are throwing stuff around that who knows what they're doing half the time. Mm-hmm. And it's just, we're not going to end up being bulky and big like them unless we're taking steroids. But strength training is so beneficial it's kind of the secret weapon to shrinking sizes, right? Who cares what you weigh? If your goal is to be smaller, you can be stronger and smaller and take up less space and be in a smaller size through strength training. Cardio doesn't do that for us. Cardio, you get good benefits while you're doing it, but with strength training, your calories that you burn at rest are raised and elevated longer. It helps with our bone density. It helps with our muscle mass. The more muscle you have, you're just going to have a lot better quality life. And the awesome thing is we only have to do it 2 to 3 times a week to get those benefits, right? You don't have to do it 5 days a week, but I'm so glad that I had a second chance with Body Gym, because originally when I was shown it, I said no. I looked at it and I was like, what? Gimmick, as seen on TV. I don't do those things. Nope. And because it was a member of the gym, I ended up being kind of forced to use it. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to show them and I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to use it with my boot camp ladies, because I had about 12 people at the time that I weighed and measured every month. I knew how much they dropped with my program. I knew what their average weight loss was, what their inch loss was. And I thought, okay, I'm going to do my same eating plan. I'm going to keep the cardio the same, but instead of being in the gym and using the free weights, I took them out on the basketball court and every one of us had a body gym and we just used that for the whole month. And I went to do the measurements and I was shocked that by just using that only, we had a better inch drop than what we were getting on my program before I implemented the body gym. And so that caught my attention and I was like, all right, maybe there is something to this. And the fact that it's portable, that you can do it in your kitchen or your TV room or throw it in your carry-on and take it on a plane and go on a trip with it. I mean, it literally goes everywhere with my family and all of us use it. My teenager, my 20-something-year-old, my husband uses it. My daughter, who served a mission and was gone for 18 months, she took it with her. So she had something to do every single day in a teeny apartment. Mm-hmm. And so I love taking it outside, though. I love using it outside.
Well, because this is one of our favorite things, the body gym, I'll put in my notes about how people can purchase or find out more about the body gym. So I'll include that information just because it is a favorite. And it's that I had the body gym before I went to a camp with you in California. And that also helped me do a lot more and incorporate the body gym a lot more. But I'll typically do it in the evenings. Instead of sitting on the couch, because I do that too, but doing the body gym on some different movements, usually in the evenings. And so I'm not just sitting on the couch. But
see, and there's time for both, right? There's time to do a little bit of strength training and there's still time to sit down and watch your show or whatever you like to unwind to.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yes. Well, before we wrap up, I do want to ask you about our trip coming up, because I'm going to share with people that you and I are going to be hiking the Grand Canyon rim to rim.
Yes.
And I know you're going to be ready for it, Mindy, and I am getting ready for it.
This is something that both of us have to get ready for, because I have never, ever done anything that long before at once. So I appreciate you sharing your bucket list adventure with me. And I'm excited that I get to do that with you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a downright adventure.
Yeah, it is for both of us.
Yeah. Here we go.
I know. Training has commenced. Well, it will be fun. We'll have to come back in October and tell everyone how we did on our Grand Canyon. And
okay, Mindy, I love it. Okay, on that note, I'm going to say thank you for joining me on the podcast. I appreciate it so much. The time always flies.
Oh, well, thank you. I enjoyed being here. So I'll see you soon.
Okay, everybody, that's a wrap on this week's episode. I want to thank you for listening to the Sharing Passion and Purpose podcast. It means the world to me, and I'd love to connect with you. Please follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn at Sharing Passion and Purpose, and Twitter at Passion Sharing. Also, if you like this podcast, it would mean a lot to me for you to subscribe, rate, and review it. And as always, all my show notes will be available on my website, sharingpassionandpurpose.com.